Today on The Traitor, Catherine Lee Scott sheds some light on Dark Shadows.
And he played the entire scene from the neck up. I mean, he didn't have trousers on, shoes, or socks.
We'll find out about the courtship of Princess Leia with author Dave Wolverton.
Obviously, having someone who was better than Han come into Leia's life seems like it would be a fun thing to do.
All this and more on today's episode of the Sci-Fi Traitor. Passion. It can control you or it can inspire you to greatness. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, passion, though a bad regulator, is a powerful spring. Hi, I'm Warren James, and welcome to the Sci-Fi Traitor. You know there's a lot to savor in this life. Good friends, great books, movies, interesting food and drink. But outside of my special friends, the thing I love most is science fiction and all that it has to offer. And on this episode, we've got plenty to offer you. Great books and videotapes, like this one from the 1966 ABC television series, Dark Shadows. Now, this show didn't feature philandering spouses, alcoholics, and the other people who normally haunt daytime TV. Instead, it was filled with vampires, werewolves, and other creatures. Millions of viewers still love this series, and it's a staple here on the Sci-Fi Channel every weekday morning beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, we're offering a fantastic Dark Shadows package, which includes the first week of original episodes along with a wonderful book about the show written by my first guest, Catherine Lee Scott, who played Maggie Evans in the series.
The name's Maggie Evans, and right now I'm the last link in a long string of gossip. Sandwich rare enough for you?
Catherine, how do you explain the increasing and ongoing popularity of Dark Shadows?
Oh, it's classic television, and it's classic stories. At the same time that Dark Shadows started, we also had Star Trek.
Yeah.
And Star Trek went ahead in time, telling wonderful parables that are universal truths. Dark Shadows went back in time. And I think that those stories, and remember, we did stories that were from Nathaniel Hawthorne, the Bible, Mary Shelley. I mean, we really did the best.
You borrowed from the best.
Absolutely.
Did you have any idea what you were getting into when you started this? Because you were on it from day one to the final wrap.
It was my very first job. And I was thrilled because I thought it was a Gothic romance. And I'll never forget when Jonathan Frid came on the show the very first time with the cape and the cane and the ring. And I realized we're going to do a vampire show with werewolves. And I was terribly disappointed.
I remember I was, dare I say, in high school when it first came out. And I remember kids going home from school early so they could see it. And it was the rage at school every day.
Well, you know, that is the classic line. Anybody who sees me in a supermarket or on a plane or whatever comes up and says, "You're Maggie Evans. I used to run home from school to watch you." It's the classic line.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now, you've gone on, and in addition to acting in the show, you've also written a couple of books about it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
You're the one we've got now, the 25th Anniversary Companion.
Yes.
You must have learned a lot of really neat things, because, I mean, you were there, but there's so much going on around you while you're being an actress, that when you came back and revisited to write a book about it, I bet you discovered a lot of neat things.
Oh, you know what I really think? It's Dark Shadows was my first professional job, straight out of school. I think it's like your first lover. You just don't forget. I mean, my long-term memory about Dark Shadows enabled me to write that book, I think, without ever using an eraser. I mean, it just flowed out of me. The other thing is, my mother had a trunk back in Robbinsdale, Minnesota, that was full of all of these Dark Shadows memorabilia, things that I'd shipped home before I moved to Europe. She sent the trunk to me, and I found the scar. You know, when Jonathan bit me, the scar that Dick Smith made for me, the latex scar. I found all of these old scripts, shooting schedules, and with all of that material, it was very easy to start writing.
What were some of the stories from behind the scenes of Dark Shadows?
Well, there's one really amazing story. You know Louis Edmonds. He's a wonderful actor. And we were always warned when we finished doing one of the shows, one of the episodes, we couldn't go upstairs from the studio and start changing into our street clothes for the following rehearsal until they had checked the tape. And Louis wandered upstairs. He thought he was finished, and he started taking his clothes off. But he was in the final scene. So somebody asked me where Louis was, and I said, oh, he went upstairs. Well, the wardrobe mistress and several of us went racing upstairs, and there was Louis in his underwear. So he raced down the stairs. He suddenly, of course, remembered himself. Well, what they did, he was standing there in his undershorts. You know how dignified he is.
Yes.
With that wonderful arch look of his. Well, they put him in front of the mantel, and they gave him a brandy glass, and he played the entire scene from the neck up. I mean, he didn't have trousers on, shoes, or socks. Nobody had a clue. So there were wonderful stories like that.
Those were marvelous stories, and, you know, talking to you and seeing your book brings back memories of rushing home from school and all those other things. Thanks for joining us, Catherine. And now Darla and Josh are going to take you on a walk through the dark shadows of daytime TV.
Dark Shadows was the first daytime drama to feature supernatural themes and special effects. The Trader has put together an exclusive package of Dark Shadows memorabilia that has something for everybody, including a signed book by Catherine and a video with the entire first week's episodes. This sensational package is available here at the Trader for only $39.95, and it can be yours by calling us at 1-800-SciFi-60. The Dark Shadows Companion is a 25th anniversary collection and includes a picture gallery of your favorite Dark Shadows characters, along with articles by Dark Shadows stars, plus a history of Dark Shadows and an episode guide. A great find for the Dark Shadows fan, and having it autographed by the author and one of the stars of the series makes it a true collectible of great value.
The value doesn't stop at the book. At no additional cost, we're rounding out our Dark Shadows package with Volume 1 of the Dark Shadows home video series. This features the very first week of Dark Shadows network debut, all 5 episodes in glorious black and white. Ted Turner, keep your hands to yourself. And as an added bonus, the first episode even contains the original commercials that ran in the program. Believe me, this video really evokes the time in which it was created.
This exclusive package of fine Dark Shadows collectibles can be yours for just $39.95, plus shipping and handling, by calling 1-800-SciFi-60. And as an added bonus, we'll throw in this Dark Shadows 25th anniversary poster absolutely free. It features Jonathan Frid as Barnabas Collins the Vampire. A bloody good deal, if you ask me.
Thanks a lot, Darla. And coming up next, Jim Latta, our prop guru, will be sharing a classic science fiction artifact with us.
Face the perils of Planet Mongo with the greatest hero of all, Flash Gordon, a Sci-Fi Channel serial thriller, tomorrow.
You're watching Sci-Fi Trader on the Sci-Fi Channel.
For the latest updates on the clone rights controversy, the ongoing Senbank investigation, and the mysterious asteroid Rilo 7, stay tuned for FTL news feeds throughout the day.
Friday the 13th, the series has come to the Sci-Fi Channel, full of the supernatural and imagination. A stronger dose of pure horror than anything else on TV. Friday the 13th, the series. Tomorrow night at 10, 7 Pacific.
We don't know who they are on the sun. The surgical procedures on them.
The Sci-Fi Channel. Welcome to the Edge.
episode of The Traitor speaks of passion, and throughout the history of science fiction and fantasy lore are tales of love. Now, Terminator is not often thought of as a love story, but it is, after all, when one remembers the passionate love behind the actions of Kyle Reese, who travels back through time to protect Sarah Connor. This is an original Sarah Connor portrayed by Linda Hamilton Polaroid, printed off of the master negative used to create the one, which was burned during filming. The Polaroid, you'll recall, is the pinnacle prop piece in the Terminator saga. Michael Biehn's character, Kyle Reese, falls in love with the image on the Polaroid, unaware that at the fateful moment the photo was taken in the past, Sarah was thinking of how in the short time she was able to be with Reese before his death, they loved a lifetime. It was believed that following filming of Terminator, the original negative was lost, as Jim Cameron had no idea that the Terminator would become the blockbuster film that it did. During pre-production on T2 Judgment Day, a frantic search was done through Jim's personal storage to locate the negative, which was eventually found. To his staff's delight, and of course mine, and now I hope yours. Till next time when...
I'll be back. We've gotten some more great letters from our fans who've either written us or sent us email on the Prodigy system. Denny Wallace wrote us on Prodigy this week, and Denny says, I really enjoy your show very much. Is there any place here online where we could order your products? Well, you know, I personally always thought that would be a great idea, but it's only going to work if we know that there are people out there who want to order our stuff that way. So we're going to ask our fans right on the air. If they'd be interested in ordering products directly online, then they should write us at the Prodigy service. Our Prodigy ID is USAO05A. We're on the TV network's bulletin board, and if enough of you are interested in this, we'll be sure to make it available to you. And Denny, for writing us, we're going to send you this neat Sci-Fi t-shirt. Remember all the great Sci-Fi Channel merchandise we've featured in our other shows? From the shirts to the hats to the watches, they're always available when you call us at 1-800-SCI-FI-60. Now, Josh and Darla have some neat movie collectibles that you'll find irresistible.
So many of you wanted last week's offering of the T-shirt from the movie The Mask that we decided to offer another one just as hot as last week. So here we go again with another fabulous T-shirt from America's favorite summer movie, The Mask. Somebody stop me!
Okay, it's my turn. This is a 100% cotton heavyweight tee, and it comes in medium, large, and extra large. It features Jim Carrey, the star of The Mask, and it's smoking!
Thought I'd return the favor. So, if you'd like to get your hands on one of these babies, they're only $19.95. A mere pittance to declare to the world that you too love the movie The Mask. Just call 1-800-SCI-FI-60 and we'll send one of these great T-shirts unless somebody...
You get the picture right.
While they continue their intellectual argument, let me tell you what's coming up next. When we return, Dave Wolverton and the Passions of Princess Leia. The romantic tension between Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker fueled our interest in the Star Wars movies. Now, Dave Wolverton has fanned the flames of those passions with The Courtship of Princess Leia. And hot off the presses, his new book, The Golden Queen, that tells another tale of love and adventure set against a background of interstellar conflict with alien races. We're offering autographed copies of both books on today's episode of The Traitor. You know, Dave, you're not just a good writer, you're a busy one. Your eyes uncrossed yet?
Just about.
Yes, you must have been really busy trying to get these two books finished at almost the same time. What would you say is the ongoing appeal of Star Wars?
I think that Star Wars has a little bit of everything for everyone. It's got adventure, it's got romance, it has humor, it has a spectacle. You know, it's something that everybody can love.
When you you've been a fan of Star Wars for a long time.
Yeah.
How did you manage to get the opportunity to do a book set in the Star Wars universe?
Well, I was fortunate in that they approached me. I had been a fan years ago. I'd seen the first movie over 30 times when it first came out. You know, I was one of the biggest fans, and so I was just sort of, bopping along on my career. And my editors called me up and said, "Would you like to do it?" And I said, "Of course."
So they came to you and asked you to. They must have been very impressed with your earlier books.
Yeah, I like to write that kind of adventure, that kind of romance, and it just kind of was a good thing for me to do.
What sort of challenge did you find when you were writing a book here? You've got a book that's in somebody else's universe, it's got its own set of rules and constraints, and you've got to fit yourself in. What sort of challenges did that provide you in comparison to your other books where you created them from whole cloth?
I think that there were a certain set of audience expectations. I wanted to make this a book that was just like watching Star Wars for the first time. I wanted to be able to include all the things that Lucas had created in films.
Such as?
Such as the spectacle and the passion and the humor, and to put this all together in a story that you could just sit down and enjoy for a few hours. And so that was a big challenge, because there was an awful lot that was done in film that takes maybe a little bit longer to work out in a book.
Yes, and you have a little more freedom on the special effects. You don't have to figure out how to do them.
I've got an unlimited special effects budget.
What was it like writing a book in the Star Wars universe?
I don't know. I think that there was a certain sort of freedom that came to me with doing it. It was a feeling that I didn't really have, critics looking over my back. I knew exactly what it was I was trying to accomplish, and I could just sit down there and have a lot of fun with it.
Did Lucasfilm give you a lot of creative freedom when you were writing this, or?
Yes, we had to go through an approval process with Lucasfilms, and I basically came up with my plot outline and sent it in to George Lucas, and he loved it and said, yeah, go with it just as it is. And so I was given a great degree of freedom.
I bet that felt good when you got George Lucas's stamp of approval.
Oh, yeah. I mean, otherwise I'd have to throw it all away and start over again.
Indeed. Dave, what do you think our fans will find most interesting about your book, The Courtship of Princess Leia?
I think that it has a very nice, a fun plot as probably the most interesting aspect, but I also had the opportunity to do some things with the Force that, you really wouldn't know about from the movies. We had the ability to get into characters' minds so that we knew exactly what it was that Luke was thinking and what he was doing when he was using the Force, and that was something that I sort of missed in the movies.
Now, your new book, The Golden Queen, that just came out, tell us about it briefly.
Well, it's a story that I wanted to try to basically once again go for that grand spectacle, the passion, the archetypal story. It's something that intrigued me with Star Wars, and I wanted to try to go in the same direction. So I have a story here about a woman who has been genetically engineered to be a leader for mankind. She's compassionate, she's intelligent, people love her automatically and unquestioningly, and she's been killed by an alien race, and her cloned daughter is now trying to basically win back the control of mankind for her people. And so it's a story that deals with archetypal themes and all this at the same time.
Very interesting. Now, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of doing Golden Queen?
Oh gosh,
you had a lot of flexibility because it's an all-new story. But...
Yeah, it's an all-new story. Challenging aspects, I think, are trying to get everything to work together, to try to keep it light and fun and entertaining and still have the depth and the sweeping motion, the passion in it.
And also getting people introduced quickly to new characters. Because it's not a Star Wars story.
No, it's not a Star Wars story.
And it's not set in that universe.
Right. Yeah, it's something that maybe gives me a little bit more freedom to express myself.
Perhaps thinking of sequels for Golden Queen already?
Oh, absolutely.
Never let a good universe die.
No, my publisher's already asked for 2 more books in the universe, so we're going full blast on those.
Very good, and who knows? Maybe George Lucas will want to film it someday.
Who knows?
Who knows? Dave, thanks very much. And now, here's the Trader's own version of Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia.
Thank you, Obi-Wan. The Courtship of Princess Leia, Dave Wolverton's action-packed love story, continues the swashbuckling epic of the Star Wars film trilogy. The Star Wars novels have been an unprecedented success, reaching as high as #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, and The Courtship of Princess Leia continues the success. Now, through an exclusive deal with the Trader, you can get a signed first edition copy of The Courtship of Princess Leia in hardback. But that's not all.
Right you are, Wookiee Breath. For $39.95, we are also including Dave Wolverton's just-released novel, The Golden Queen. Again, the Trader has scored a signed first edition of this exciting new novel in hardback. Publishers Weekly says that Star Wars fans will devour The Golden Queen's mix of familiar themes, characters, and interesting alien technology. You can devour The Golden Queen and The Courtship of Princess Leia both for only $39.95 plus shipping and handling by calling 1-800-Sci-Fi-60. And master movie poster illustrator Drew Struzan, our guest on The Trader last week, did this gorgeous cover for The Courtship of Princess Leia. Drew was personally chosen by George Lucas himself to paint the cover, so it's an even more sought-after collectible.
Well said, Yoda Face. This is such a phenomenal deal, only $39.95 for 2 signed first edition hardbacks. But the supply is limited. At this time, we only have secured 100 copies of each book. So buyer beware, at this price they won't last long. You may never be able to get a signed first edition copy at this price again.
As Dave signs my personal copy, stay tuned. When we return, we'll have a special offer we thought we couldn't make.
A father and son are worlds apart.
You really are my father.
But they'll have to stay together.
I'll bring you the alien.
To stay alive.
If I give you the alien, you leave the boy alone.
Robert Hayes, Starman. Tomorrow at 6.
Weird Science. Saturday nights at 10 on USA.
A couple of weeks ago, Kelly Freas appeared on our show. He's one of the most highly honored science fiction artists of all time. And we featured a book and print signed by him. Though the package we were offering is no longer available, we have secured a very limited number of signed copies of his book, A Separate Star. This book is no longer in print, so this is your final chance to own one for your very own at the rock-bottom price of $29.95.
A Separate Star features over 55 large paintings in full color, plus 40 additional sketches with handwritten captions from Kelly's notes, and this handsome leatherette volume comes with a matching gold-stamped slipcase, and it's sure to be something that you'll want to put in a prominent area of your collection.
We are offering the last copies of A Separate Star, signed by Kelly Freas, for only $29.95, plus shipping and handling, by calling 1-800-Sci-Fi-60. Only a very few copies of this signed book remain, so if you snooze, you'll lose. Now, if you'd like any of the items which we featured on the show today, they're just a phone call away. First, we have the Dark Shadows products, starting with the Dark Shadows Companion, the 25th anniversary collection signed by its editor and one of the stars of the series, Catherine Lee Scott. It's chock full of pictures and vital information about this groundbreaking television show.
Also in the Dark Shadows offering, you get all 5 of the first week's shows, and in the debut episode, the original commercials are intact and they're really fun to watch. For only $39.95, you get the Dark Shadows Companion, the Dark Shadows Home Video Series, and this complimentary 25th anniversary poster. All of that just by calling 1-800-Sci-Fi-60.
We also have 2 excellent books from Dave Wolverton. Both are signed first editions. The Courtship of Princess Leia and The Golden Queen are yours for the unbelievable price of $39.95. That's both books together for $39.95. Our final item today is this 100% cotton t-shirt from the summer's mega hit movie, The Mask. Hey, you've got Jim Carrey, the film star. You've got his mug all over this thing. What more could you ask for $19.95? Give us a call at 1-800-Sci-Fi-60, and we'll send you 1, or 2, or 3, or as many as you want. Now, Warren will towel-snap your cerebrum with one last spoonful of synaptic stimuli, or something like that.
Every week on my radio show, I close with a quote from the film Time After Time. And since our show today was about romance and passion, I thought these might be appropriate words. Every age is the same. It's only love that makes any of them bearable. I'm Warren James, and this is the Sci-Fi Trader. May love make your future wonderful.
Mind control, government secrets, freedom. Patrick McGowan stars as number 6 in a television classic. The Sci-Fi Series Collection presents The Prisoner, tonight at 9 p.m., 6 Pacific. Now, stay tuned for Beauty and the Beast, next on the Sci-Fi Channel.